You've seen the spark, the obsession, the way your kid lights up when they're playing as a goalkeeper, and now you just want to help them chase their dream, right? But here's the tricky part no one warns you about. That line between support and pressure, it's razor thin. So in this video, we're breaking down the 4 biggest mistakes goalkeeper parents make and how you can avoid them. Let's dive into mistake number 1. And let me ask you something. Who's driving the dream? Because sometimes, without even meaning to, we start pushing harder than they are. We're checking training schedules, sending highlight clips to coaches, booking extra sessions, and suddenly we're sprinting while they're just walking. And trust me, I get it. I still remember when I fell in love with goalkeeping. I was 7, sitting on the floor in front of the TV, watching Claudio Taffarel save that penalty in '94 World Cup, and something in me just said, wow, I want to do that too. From that point, I was totally obsessed, diving on concrete, playing in the wind, the rain. I didn't care, and my mom, being a former goalkeeper herself, she saw that. She supported me every step of the way, drove me to training, bought my first goalkeeper gloves, cheered at every match, even those who were far, far away. But here's the part I didn't see until years later. Sometimes the more you want it for them, the more it starts to feel like they're doing it for you. And that's exactly how I felt. It was like it wasn't even my dream anymore. It was my mom's. And now, instead of playing to enjoy the game, I was playing to not disappoint her. So if you really want to support your child's goalkeeping dreams, start by separating who they are from how they perform. Praise the effort, not just the result. Say things like, I'm proud of how hard you worked today, or something simple like, I love to watch you play no matter what happens. Let them know that you love them because they're your kid, not because they made a great save today. Alright, so now that your kid knows that you love them for who they are, not how they play, you already won half the battle. But there is another mistake that even the most supportive parents make. Let me tell you what I mean in mistake number 2. Game's just finished, your kid's walking towards you, bit of dirt on their shorts, maybe their head's hanging low, or maybe they're buzzing. They hop into the car, shut the door, and then it starts. Why didn't you come out quicker for the first goal? Why didn't you catch that cross? Why was your positioning all wrong during that free kick? And I know it's coming from a good place. You're trying to help. You're trying to make the most out of the moment. But here's what it feels like for your kid. It's like the match never ended, like they're still under pressure, feeling nervous, and they're not allowed to breathe. And suddenly, the game they love starts to feel like a test they can't pass. So here's what most parents don't realize. After a game, most goalkeepers, they already know what went wrong. They're already replaying the mistakes in their head, that soft goal, that mistimed decision, that bad kick. And what they're not looking for is a lecture. They're trying to find a place to land. So instead of giving them all the answers, start asking questions. Things like, how did you feel about today's game? What do you think went well? Is there anything you want to work on next week? Let them lead the conversation, and when they're ready for feedback, trust me, they'll ask for it. Now, if you really want to support your child, make sure you check out the Ultimate Self-Training Program. It's the program I wish I had when I was a young goalkeeper. It's proven and tested by over 1,000 goalkeepers from the ages of 7 all the way up to 65. Goalkeepers who don't have private coaches or just want to train more, train better, and improve faster than ever before. Make sure you check it out. The link's in the description. Alright, so now that you stop coaching every car ride and you start listening instead of lecturing, that's a huge step forward. But there is another trap a lot of parents fall into, and this one's even harder to spot. Let's talk about that in mistake number 3. And let me ask you this, when's the last time you talked to your kid about something other than football? And no, I'm not talking about school or chores. I mean, really talked, laughed about something dumb, asked about their favorite movie, had fun that wasn't about training or tactics or next week's match. Because here's what happens when every dinner conversation is about goalkeeping. Eventually, your kid starts to feel like that football isn't just something they love, is just who they are now. A project, a performance, a full-time job, and that's when the spark starts to fade. And I've seen it happen so many times, even with kids who had all the talent in the world. They started strong, obsessed with the game, always had a ball at their feet, but after years of constant focus, they stopped smiling at training, they stopped enjoying matches, and they started saying things like, I just don't feel like it anymore. And the parents, they were heartbroken. They thought they did everything right, supportive, committed, present at every game, maybe even every practice. But the problem, they never gave their child room to be just a kid. So here's the shift that changes everything. Let football and goalkeeping be a part of their life, not all of it. Ask about their day without mentioning the game. Do something silly together. Watch a movie, go for ice cream. Talk about literally anything else. Because when your child starts to think they're more than just a goalkeeper, trust me, they'll start playing like one again. Okay, so now that you made space for more than just football, now that your child knows they're more than just a goalkeeper, that's huge. But there is one more mistake I've seen a lot of parents make, even the most supportive ones. Let's talk about mistake number 4. When's the last time you just watched your child play? Not as a coach, not as a critic, just as a parent who's proud to see them out there. Because here's what I've noticed. Every kid feels like everyone is evaluating them. No one is just enjoying them play, and that hits harder than you think. I remember one game when I was maybe 12. We were playing away, awful pitch, pouring rain. I just made a save I was so proud of. Full stretch, top hand, tipped it over the bar. And when I got up and looked out to the sidelines, my coach was literally on the phone. And my mom, who usually cheered the loudest, well, she didn't say a word because she was chatting with another parent. And I know it's silly, but in that moment, I didn't feel like anyone saw me. And that's the part we as parents sometimes forget. Kids, they don't just want your support. They want you in their corner, loudly, always backing them up, no matter what, especially when they're making mistakes. They want to see you clapping when no one else is, smiling every time they step onto the pitch. So here's a reminder. Be their biggest supporter, always. Be the person who celebrates every small win. The one who says, well done, just for showing up. And the one who's proud, even when everything isn't perfect. Now, that's a good parent supporting their goalkeeper. Now, supporting your child in goalkeeping or in sports in general, that's massive. That's one of the most important things in life. But if they do got a trial coming up, there's a whole new set of mistakes to avoid. So if you want to be successful at trials, click this video right here and make sure you avoid the same mistakes that I made as a young goalkeeper.